This is our first session of our series, Underneath Giza. A technique of front-loaded ERV was used to tap into this target. The visual data we perceive in our work has to be understood as pointers or references, and may not be always 100% accurate. But in some cases our visual data gets actually extremely close to the actual target aspects, as they are. We started our astral voyage at the Sphinx. There at the right side is a small hole which leads us directly underneath the ancient Sphinx structure. Here we perceived that there is a shaft which goes straight down and leads into a chamber. In this chamber we perceived several blocks out of rock. They seemed to be some form of tables, or altars. There was also the impression that there was at least one sarcophagus. Next we perceived a crossroad of tunnels, and the general impression of vast tunnel and cave systems underneath the Giza plateau. Here we perceived a huge golden box. This box was very beautifully crafted and decorated with different kinds of inscriptions and symbols, of ancient Egyptian type. It seemed that this box contains valuable artifacts, in particular very special scrolls. The idea of a time capsule came up here, and the comparative analytical overlay of the Ark of Covenant. Visual data of an object similar to a book came here. This object was again beautifully crafted from gold, and had a round symbol in the center of its front. Here we got visual data of a very bizarre-looking structure or object. It had the form of a bell with somewhat angular appendices to its sides. It seemed to be brownish in color with a very reddish tone, and had a very smooth surface. It seemed as if it was made out of stone or ceramic. Also, we had the strong feeling that this was not of ancient Egyptian cultural origin. In connection to the bell-like object, we perceived also data of patterned textures at the walls. Overall it seemed to us that the ancient Egyptians, we know of, did not craft these artifacts themselves, rather inherited this object and many of the underground structures and chambers from their ancestors or predecessors, and kept these things as holy. Here we perceived a molded material, in the form similar to that of hanging remains of a curtain, hanging down from the ceiling of a tunnel. We perceived data of several statues, which were standing in a row along both sides of a bigger tunnel. Now we perceived data of a gate-like construction or structure. The strong impression surfaced that the following structures are not of ancient Egyptian origin, but have their origin long before the first dynasties of ancient Egypt. As we tapped deeper into the data of the gate-like structure, it appeared to be positioned on an elevation, with a stone or rock stairway in front of it. The idea and analytical overlay of a portal came up here, and should be strictly handled as extraneous data, and should be contemplated on with distance only. Another analytical overlay was that of a special altar. Overall, this structure we perceived had a special function, and a very special feeling to it. In the center of our special gate-like structure was an oval and highly reflective object positioned. This object was standing upright, as can be seen in our sketches. The analytical overlay of a mirror came up here. Next we perceived a giant chamber or cavern, of artificial origin. Here we got feelings that at this location happened something sinister, at some point of time. Also, the term, mass grave, came spontaneously into our focus. In the end of our voyage, we perceived data of huge cave systems, of natural origin. The term pollution came up here to our attention. There was the feeling of pollution in the sense of cruel things happened or were done here in the past. The analytical overlay of bloodshed popped up here. Much more sessions will be conducted on this target. If you liked this presentation, please hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.